trying to write something about Lanford is it's like trying to paint something about Picasso. I didn't go to playwriting school. My poet teacher said, go to New York and go to the theater and you'll figure it out. Then, as now, New Yorkers read reviews for one reason only, which was to find a reason not to go see the play. Fortunately, there were some important critics who refused to give readers any loophole to avoid seeing Lanford's plays. I'd like to thank Michael Feingold and Frank Rich now, publicly, for championing him. That's the job. The first play of Lanford's I came across was Mound Builders. I was a complete ignoramus, which I remain, and I was sitting there and I thought, this is so much about archaeology. This is like, they keep talking about archaeology, and he must have been like an archaeologist at school, and then he just decided he had to write a play about it because he loved archaeology so much. And, and I thought, well, that's great, that's terrific. And then I started looking at the other plays. I went to the bookstores and I started going to see them, and there were gynecologists, and there were whole plays about priests and lumber mill heiresses and university professors and graphic designers and sci-fi writers and waitresses and pro tennis players and gallery owners and architects and social workers and aeronautics plant managers and couture designers and student journalists and oceanographers and managers of cheese plants and astrophysicists and Episcopalian priests and retired anthropologists with AIDS and postdoctoral students and Lithuanian Jewish communist tax accountants and textile factory owners and radium-poisoned watchmakers and fundamentalist preachers, and I thought, fuck me, who is this guy? He knows about everything. I used to think he disappeared into his characters, but I think he was born in them. He did not invite us to look down on them, to laugh at them, to congratulate ourselves on our intelligence, or to excuse us from feeling. The only thing we weren't allowed to feel was superior. He invited us to have an experience. Lanford's plays reintroduce us to life, as a garden reintroduces us to nature, which is to say ourselves. And if you're very quiet and filled with humility, to God. His plays made me want to write. They made me want to write better. On the day he died, a critic in the Times wrote that his plays are sometimes sentimental and sometimes cloying. And I thought, well, you can say that about Shakespeare and Chekhov, so go on. And then I sat down and I reread all of them. And I thought, well, look, here's a nihilistic character. He speaks nihilistically. Here's a reserved character. She speaks reservedly. Oh yeah, here's a sentimental person, overly sweet. She speaks sentimentally and cloyingly. And the clue to how to hold the pain of that particular think piece that came out on the day of Lanford's death was, sometimes heartless people speak heartlessly. He disappeared into his characters, and now he has disappeared. But the plays do not disappear. And though we were given a reason on that day to not reread the plays and to not produce them, what one might have said that day was anything from any page of any one of these amazing plays. Here's a line that I just opened this play this morning, and this is literally the first thing I read. That's not the news. A couple burned in a fire, a mother beat her child to death. They should come on the news and say, well, today there are still more people in the world than the rich people need to maintain their wealth. And that would be the end of it. We'll check it out tomorrow. If anything changes, we'll let you know. Thank you, Lanford. Thank you all.